Hello, it's Johara. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be talking about characters that never should have died. So these are just characters that I loved, and even if their deaths technically served a point, some of these did not. I don't think should have died just because I love them. It's really that simple. I just love these characters, and their death was truly upsetting, and I wanted it to live. Because I love the character, or maybe because that meant my ship was an endgame, or maybe it was both. I don't know. But yeah, so let's get into the list, shall we? So I have Tara McClay from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one that I will forever be upset about. Her death always makes me cry, and Willow's reaction, and everything going on, and Xander's speech. It all is just so sad. And I love her. She's actually my favorite character on Buffy. She is one of the, if not the most underrated character, and underappreciated, and best friend, and she just deserved better. Then I have Dean Winchester from Supernatural. This shouldn't shock anyone because I feel like this is a lot of people's opinion because Dean should not have died. I also have Cass on here, which I think is, again, not unpopular. And I have Charlie and Bobby. I don't know how popular or unpopular that is. I don't think it would be popular because I don't think we would name them. But I don't think either one of them should die because they deserved a good, because Charlie did everything she did to save Dean and help them. And then Bobby was a father to them and deserved to live with them as well. Their deaths always make me cry as well. Then I have three characters from Once Upon a Time. Belle French, Neil, and Robin. Robin was sad. Him and Regina deserve to be happy. Belle was sad. She's my favorite character. And she's been through so much. And I guess she did finally have a fulfilling life with Rumple, thankfully. Her death was so sad. And it still was short-lived because wherever they were was making them age more. But, so they should have just, not lived there so that she could have, her. I don't know. But, and then Neil is my second favorite character. He's very underrated, and I love him. I'm also a big Swanfire shipper, and his death was so sad, and he deserved better. And I don't care what anyone says, so don't try to argue me in the comments. This is forever true. Because logically, Emma loved Neil more than anything, except for Henry, obviously, and maybe her parents. Maybe even more than her parents at this point, let's be real. But, she would never have chosen Hook over Neil. I am convinced that the only reason why they killed off Neil was because they wanted Emma and Hook together from the beginning. So they knew that for Emma to be with Hook, Neil had to die, unfortunately. So he got the short end of the stick, even though Swanfire is the better ship. But that's just my opinion. The last part is my opinion. The other true part is fact, according to me. So I have my Saint Germain from Pretty Little Liars just because her death's really sad, and I'm also an Amaya shipper. And her death's just really sad, and it always makes me cry, and she deserved better. I also have Francis from Reign and Lola from Reign. Both their deaths are really sad, especially Francis. He deserves to live a long life with Mary, and Lola's sister was also sad because she was totally wrong, and she was tricked, and it was just awful because she did not deserve that. And then Martin Stein from the Arrowverse, as well as Oliver Queen from the Arrowverse. Oliver's death sad, of course, but Stein's death is just so sad. Legends of Tomorrow is my favorite show out of the four. And what's funny is that the first show of these four that I watched was actually Supergirl. Okay, Mom watched it first because she's always been a fan of Superman and Supergirl, and then I saw something that she was watching, and I decided to watch it too. And then when Invasion came, we obviously didn't know about that crossover because Supergirl didn't, even though she was on those shows, she didn't have her own episode, so we didn't really know. So the first crossover we actually saw was the one with Barry and Iris' wedding. When we heard about this giant crossover, we decided to watch full crossover, so we had to figure out which episodes were which. And a lot of times we were confused because we were not watching the other shows at this point. This crossover is what made us decide to watch the other shows, which we eventually did. We did not know who this character was. We had never seen Legends. We had never seen Flash. We did not know who this character was. But we were both bawling this crossover, not knowing who this character was. That's how impactful his death was. because we were rewatching some of the crossovers not that long ago, and we were talking about that, just laughing about how we had no idea who this character was, but his death was still making us cry. That's how well written it was, okay? Man, I'm wanting to tear up just thinking about it. Man, his death is just, And then last, and I still cry every time I rewatch. But anyways, then last is Charlie from Lost, because his death is so sad. He risked everything to let them know the truth, and then Hurley and Claire finding out that he died was so sad. Then Hurley's speech to Jack, and then choosing to follow Charlie was also so. His whole death and stuff, and then his greatest hit thing, and his greatest hit being Claire, because the best thing in his life is meeting her. They're my favorite ship on the show, and probably just so underrated. I love them, and I love him, and yeah, so. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment what characters you don't think should have died, and maybe I'll make a part 2. And I'll chat with you guys below in the comments next time.